I don't know if you've noticed, but I got some new Hooey, and it
Is that what you're wearing right
is
now?
that is what I'm wearing.
Oh, sick.
I knew it. I was like, Paul's gonna love this.
Yeah. Is that a hooded sun
So it's
shirt?
yes, there's the new Habitat
Oh yeah,
sun
I'm
shirt,
adding 4 to my
hoodie,
cart.
fishing shirt.
Those are my
Yep.
favorite shirts to wear like
And the
24/7
fact that
anyway.
it's me too. I love them, man. Absolutely love them. And I wear them in the summer a lot because I mean, sun wise, obviously, but even in the winter too, they're kind of just a nice insulator and like a middle layer. But the camo is obviously right up my alley, right up your
Mhm.
alley, a lot of people's alleys, I'm sure. And the pattern is super dope. So
Yeah,
y'all check them
I
out. Go
saw
to
the new Soul shirts. I really like those, like the different
they had a
designs and
camo
stuff.
version of that. I got
Yeah,
out of that as well.
because
I got
that was
this
like
new lid
that
for
was gonna be
them.
the next thing that I got was that camo Soul shirt. I was like, "Oh, that'd be great for
Hmm.
fishing." But now that I
Yep.
see, there's an actual, hooded sun shirt that is right. It's going straight to cart.
Yep, get it before it's gone. I know that these will sell out quick. But yeah, check them out. GetYourHooey.com. Use our discount code Champion Living. Save you some bucks at checkout. And like I said, their new spring line is sick, super sick. They have a ton of new hats they just released as well. This is one of them, and I've got a few more downstairs I'll be sharing throughout the next episodes. You had a busy day yesterday, bro.
Bro, I've had a busy 7 days.
I feel like that's just life.
Dude, yeah,
Like
life is like
what?
life has turned the dial up on me here the last week.
And you just got to keep rolling
Yeah,
on.
you just gotta take the punches and grow with it. But yeah, uh, yesterday was shoot, man, it was a good day to be a duck out there. That's for dang sure. It sounds like the next few days are around here. We're under like this.
Raining pretty hard.
It's not like the storms are in the area right now, but like yesterday. I mean, like we're kind of situated on a hilltop. Like there's really good drainage, and like our yard had standing water in it.
Oh,
Like there's a lot. But
yeah.
yeah,
That is a lot.
we're currently under like this flood watch for like 100-year flood.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Well, at least you're on top of the hill, brother.
yeah. I could be in way worse places. Like
Oh,
people
yeah.
that have houses on the river and stuff. I'm like concerned for them because they're gonna get all the runoff and might be a little hairy next few days around here. But
Yeah. Welcome to Arkansas,
yeah,
baby.
it's
Welcome to Arkansas.
April showers bring May flowers.
May flowers.
Hopefully,
And that is the truest thing ever up here in Montana as well. We had, it just likes to tease us for like 2 days. We see 70 degrees sunshine, and it's like, oh, we made it. Not just kidding.
yeah,
Here's rain for the next 21 days straight, but it's all good.
yeah.
Spring bear season's opening up soon, so I'm getting hyped up for that. I cannot wait to get back in the mountains. And I realized that that's my favorite form of cardio is hunting.
Yeah.
And I realized I wore my whoop all last elk season, and just as best I could. Granted, those days that I was out for like a week, you just can't keep it charged. But I went back to I wanted to see what my HRV was then when I was doing a lot of cardio activity. I was also, quote unquote, that would be like overtraining, right? Like minimal sleep, pushing. I was way over 20 on a strain for most days, and my HRV was like double what it is now. Yeah, so it just shows that I hate cardio, but I love doing that kind of stuff, and I just think that if I can do the basic maintenance level of my cardio throughout the rest of the year, I'd be a lot better off. My thing is I just stop doing it and I just go back to the weight room. And granted, I'm breathing hard during some of these circuits that I build or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
EMOMs, AMRAPs, whatever. And it's just not the same as that long, sustainable, just cardio, like level 2 cardio.
Mm-hmm.
I was also very, very lean by the end of that. And so it's just kind of it's a balancing act because I don't really like being that lean all the time. My body does not feel that great when I start getting to a point of not enough body fat.
Mm-hmm.
But just some random stuff I've been thinking about. And with the weather getting nice, it just kind of makes me want to get outside and do some of that stuff. So I have strapped the pack on and walked. We've got like a hill behind the house, and I put 30 pounds in the bag. Definitely could have carried more. And usually my going weight's probably 50 to 60 pounds when I'm going in on an actual trip. I'm so glad I only did 30 pounds, bro. I've done that walk twice in a row, and my hips, like everything is torched.
Yeah.
And just from walking on the gravel, the uneven surface, and you just don't realize how much you're having to stabilize the entire time. And you know, your body's having to work extra. And I haven't worked any of those muscles all winter. So it was kind of just a good wake up and refresh. And I've just been trying to hit that twice a week as well to keep everything like warming up I guess that's how I want to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, rodeo season is picking up. It's time to gear up with the best in the business. Beastmaster Rodeo is fully stocked and ready to get you dialed in for the rest of the season. If you're going to ride or compete at your best, you better get gear that works as hard as you do. They just launched their new Pro Gel line. This includes their neck rolls, rig and handle pads, Brazilian and American bull rope pads, and tailbone pads for all you rough stock riders. This stuff is a game changer. It's built to absorb impact, provide unmatched comfort. It's going to help keep you in the game and in the arena longer. And y'all, they're not stopping there. They have new boots, chaps, dummies, all are rolling out this season so you can keep pushing the limits with the best in durability and performance. And as a listener to the Champion Living podcast, you get the exclusive hookup. Use our discount code Champion Living, all one word. Going to save you 10% on your entire order. Y'all, don't settle. Gear up for the best. Gear up with the best. BeastmasterRodeo.com. Check them out.
I hear you. I hear you.
Are you the American is going to be
Oh,
what
shoot.
we got 2
Yeah, that
weeks,
is right around the
right, a
corner.
week and a half. Yeah, 8 days, something like that. What about you doing pro fantasy?
Oh, for
Are you
sure.
doing the Yeah. Did you see the list of prizes?
No, I haven't. Not for that.
Oh, it's nutty. Nutty. So it's $74 to play, but you get 2 teams. I think this is how it works. I know you get 2 teams. I think you get to pick one team of contenders. That is the qualifiers, right? That's what they call them, I believe.
Yeah, I think. Yes. The
And then you get to
contenders.
pick another just full team
The contenders are the
of whoever you want.
non-invite folks. Yeah.
The people they're $1 million eligible,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're 2 different games, so you have prizes for each different game. One game you get to the first place prize, I think, is 10 grand and a Cybertruck, and then the other one was it was a 4-wheeler that was like wrapped in the American and all that stuff. It's pretty dope. There's lots of cash prizes. I'm definitely getting in on that because it's just fun.
It is fun.
It really is. It's really fun.
It's kind of
And
addicting.
totally addicting, man. And when we were playing rodeo picks, towards the end, me and you were like, "All right, where are you at on this pick?
Yeah.
Where, what are you picking here?" And then he would pick something, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm definitely picking the opposite." And then we'd both lose. But no, it's a lot of fun. It just makes watching even more interactive, right?
Yeah.
Getting to do it, and I love that I don't know where that started, but I think it started in San Antonio with with the people in the crowd. Because remember
Yeah, they do the
they give away a gas card
mhm.
for someone
You, like, guess
who
the
can
scores and
guess
times and
scores.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I always thought was cool because they'd show it on Cowboy Channel, them playing and stuff, and then all of a sudden this comes out and it's way better than a $250 gas card. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. They had that on the rodeo picks for Houston's 4-man round, and I missed it. I didn't realize that was a thing until afterwards. But they had, like, the live score guesses for the 4-man round.
I did not
I
know
didn't
that
Yeah,
either.
I totally missed it, and then I looked at it afterwards because it was, like, highlighted on the rodeo picks
That
page or
was
whatever.
that. Did they post that at
I
all?
didn't
Like
see it,
they were
no,
gonna.
because like I
I
said, like, I
didn't
totally
either.
missed it, and then I saw it afterwards, and I
Oh,
was like, "Oh, dang."
boo! Pro fantasy rodeo. You could have done better on that. That's.
Yeah, I
Just
didn't know
kidding.
anything about it until it was over.
I had no idea. I did see that there was 2 separate like like you could vote. You voted on the last round of Houston in Rodeo Houston, and then it said Rodeo
Yeah,
Live.
that was it.
And you okay? I think I just went back and clicked on through them before the 4-man even started because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I just like double picked teams, and I don't know. Oh, that was confusing. So hopefully they can clear some of that stuff up. But I'm pretty sure they're continuing on with San Angelo and being able to play. Is that correct or no? Or is it just Texas swing
Um,
just over after Houston?
yeah, I'm not sure. I thought that San Angelo would be included in that.
I actually, when I'm thinking about it now, I may have read that it was over after Houston because I want to say they were picking for the barn like April 5th or
Ah,
something like that.
nope, San Angelo's on there. They have
Okay.
updated it. April
Does it
4th.
say when the drawing is for
Because my
everything
kids have
or?
been asking me every single day, like, "Can we play rodeo picks yet?" And I was like, "No, there's not one we can
Okay, well,
pick
shout out
today."
to Cannon, bro. How does that kid do
Dude, I
this?
don't know. He just randomly picks
He
them based off of
I
the
know, that's the
photo.
best part. You know that he doesn't know
Yeah.
every one of them, but he picks winners.
Yeah, and, like, there's
You guys
been,
need to go
like,
to the
some
horse
in the
track
bull
now.
riding where I'm like, "Oh, no, don't pick that one. You should pick this one." And then sure enough,
Sure
the one that
enough.
he originally picked is the guy that won it, so, yeah. So I just let him do it
Uh,
now.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I've texted Paul and been like, "What Cannon pick for this?"
Yeah.
Tell me. Uh, I could, but I'm, I could use that 10K or
Yeah, I got a
a
spot
barn
for
or
it.
a truck or whatever. I uh I hadn't seen one of those cyber trucks in person till the other day. Someone on our street bought one. They must be really, really wealthy, but uh it looked so out of place, bro.
Oh, dude, I'm sure. We've got
Like
one in we've got
driving up the dirt
literally
road, I'm
one
like,
in our
what
town too.
is
Like a
this?
guy that owns like an insurance agency or something's got one. And every time we drive by it, it's like that is like the only that's one of like probably 3 Teslas at all in our town, but like it's definitely the only Cybertruck. Everybody around here drives
Dude.
Dodge flatbeds or Tacomas.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. I know what you're
It's
thinking. It's a
ranching and
Hemi.
farm or ranching and fishing is like all we got around here.
Uh, hey man, those are two great
Yeah,
things. Two
it's a
great
good
things. Hey,
spot.
you said insurance, and it's got me. I know we got all fired up about
Yeah,
insurance
let's
this
not talk
maybe
about insurance
last
if we don't have
episode.
to.
No, I have good news. I have good news, bro. Because that fired me up. I was literally not. I was pissed
Yeah.
about that. And I'm like, this cannot be the only way it is. It's not. It's not. There's actually private insurance that I had. Yeah, I just didn't know.
Mhm.
I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that have no idea. But and I get a hold of a guy. He's awesome. Helps me out, and he kind of gave me a lesson on how the God, this is so off topic for what we usually talk about. But everyone
That's
get ready,
alright.
get your pens out
Yeah.
because you're gonna want to know this if you don't already. Um, so like healthcare.gov, right?
Mhm.
The government healthcare.
Marketplace deal, yeah.
Yes. When they what they do is they take the entire population and all of those demographics and percentages of illness and all of that and apply it to everybody. And so everyone gets the same price, right? And so like for a family like mine or yours, parents in our early 30s, mid 30s, one kid, three kids, whatever it is, children, but very, very healthy, maybe get sick once a year, don't go to the doctor very often at all, aren't taking medicines really regularly, aren't in a occupation that is going to put you at risk a lot, right? We should never get pulled into that broad of a category, right?
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening is all the healthy people end up paying for all these sick people's health care.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, if that's what you're about, that's just not what I'm about. And we can still be friends, but that's just not how I look at things. Private healthcare, the insurance companies go in and underwrite the policy based off of your history of health the last 7 to
Mm.
10 years. So they are going to go in and look at you, what your history with doctors has been over the last 7 to 10 years. Are you a healthy person? Are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And we got, dude, I saved so much money. It was insane. Like unreal. So I encourage anybody, if you are healthy and don't know about private healthcare insurance, go check it out because the government wanted me to pay like close to $2,000 a month for my wife and my son and myself. And I can't tell you the last time I've been to a doctor.
Yeah.
And our deductible was
That's
$18,000.
insane.
18 grand. What? Like that is wild. This new one, like just under 700 a month, $2,000 deductible. Like, okay, that's how it should be, right? And so you're getting lumped into your own category with that,
Mhm.
which I had no idea about any of this. And it blew my mind a little bit. it really did. And I thought that, you know, after we got so fired up, we might as well bring some good news after that episode. And there is good news. There are other options.
Question for you on that. It was because
Yeah,
I looked in that, or I tried to. I didn't look very hard because the insurance just stresses me out so bad. But I did try to like search
me
for
too, man.
like private insurance or like independent insurance or whatever. Um, was it a local organization that you found, or is
Dude,
it like a
I found this dude on Instagram
really?
of all places, and I kept getting this ad. Are you a small business owner in Montana that needs quality health insurance?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it probably came up. It's been popping up on my story feed the last month and a half, maybe.
Yeah,
And after that combo, it popped up one morning, and I said, "Yep."
yeah.
And I think I just got lucky in the deal too because the guy that helped me, let me find his name again real quick. Oh, big shout out to him. He was badass. Tyler Croft, and he's from Billings, but his company they're nationwide. They can do anything, and they're working through United Healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the number one recognized healthcare plan out there. But he said he could help anybody in any state, just depending on where they were and who you could get you linked up with. But he was so informational, so helpful, and that was the first time I've ever talked to somebody in the insurance industry and actually understood what was going on, and they took the time to explain it to me and Al, and um, it just blows my mind. I'm 35 years old and know nothing about that, and people look at you like you should automatically know everything about that. How do you
Yeah,
not know about insurance? Like, there's no classes in school about that. Why don't we teach that in school?
yeah.
Why isn't that a college, part of your curriculum? I don't get it.
Credit,
And then
money, like loan applications, mortgage, like how to get a mortgage, like all that
mortgage.
should be included
Oh
in
my
school, dude.
goodness.
And none of it is. It's like those are
Man,
like the
it's
most important things that you'll face throughout your life, and nobody teaches you about it.
none. Not at all. Not even a little bit. It's wild. Do you How many years did you go to college?
Four.
What I'm trying to think, like, at myself at that age. I didn't really wanna go to school. I went
No,
to
I
school
didn't
because
either.
I thought it was the
I
like,
literally
you
went to
had to kind of.
rodeo. Yeah.
Yeah, like that same. And it took me a lot of years to actually get something out of school, and I think it just took a maturity level to get there, but, like, where do you think you would be without that? Where would you have looking like right now, if you knew everything you knew right now at 18, what would you have done differently? Would you have still gone, or do you think you would have been building a business at a young age?
Yeah, I would definitely would have been building a business at a younger age because like that was like always that I was always trying to do that anyway. Like through like
Mhm.
even like trying to figure out like I've often thought about like when was like my first like entrepreneurial like endeavor. And I think it was like high school. I want to like I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it was even in middle school, like just trying to hustle stuff. Uh
What, like weed and stuff?
no, no, not that. No, like but I would like I was like, trying to make a dollar however I could that wasn't, a quote unquote real job. Like I always had the like
Mhm.
innate drive. I didn't know how to do it. Like I didn't know like what are there rules? Like is there a method to this? Like um so yeah, I think to answer your question, like I definitely would have tried to start a business much sooner. I think I can answer it like looking forward to the future better than looking back on myself. Like my
Mhm.
plans for my kids is hopefully
That's a yes.
homeschool up through,
Mhm.
graduate high school graduation, but I want them to enter if they decide to enter college, like they already have a business built that is operating like for them. Like I don't care what it is. I don't care if if Cannon wants to go get a welding certificate when he's 16 and start a welding side gig and then put himself through college. Like I don't care what, like I don't care if it's e-commerce, I don't care what they do, but I want them to have tried a business first and have one operational by the time they get into college. Because when I was in college, we had some foreign exchange students from like I think they were from like Saudi Arabia or somewhere in the Middle East that
Mhm.
they already owned businesses.
Mhm.
And they in our classes, like because I was a business major, they were asking questions that, like, I had never even considered or thought about
Mhm.
because they already had the experience. They knew what
Mhm.
they were trying to get out of school. I didn't know what the heck I was trying to get out of it. I just thought a business degree would be a good idea. Like, that's literally it. Um, so what I would do differently is what I plan to do with
Your
my
kids.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a better way to look at it, I think.
Yeah.
It's like looking back is always hindsight's 2020, right?
Yeah.
Just doesn't really matter. But getting to change that moving on is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that other countries their culture is l- you have to mature at a younger age. And what I mean by that is they're yeah, I just think about Australia even when we went there
Mhm.
2 years ago, and those kids were 18 to whatever 23, 24, but they were paying for everything themselves. They were investing their own money in things. A lot of those guys had companies and jobs,
Mhm.
and like really actually pretty badass jobs and companies they had built already, and they were 20, 21 years old. We don't have that here very often, and I think that is, again, our cultures are different, but I feel like my parents, not in a bad way, I think this was a very big thing in the US, but wanted to make their kids' lives easier than
Yes,
theirs were,
100%.
right? And I think that's taken an awful turn.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think about that often, like, I mean, if you think about the generations that, like, we've gone through, or not that we personally have gone through, but that our country has gone through, like, we had, like, the World War like, the Great Depression, the people that went through the Great Depression and World War II, and then, like, our parents would be those would be, like, our grandparents. Our parents came from that, and so, like, they were distilled a certain amount of values, and it was hard because their parents went through something very, very difficult, like, we think COVID was uncertain times. Holy crap!
Oh, dude.
Imagine World War II. Uh, and then like just the Cold War and everything else that they all grew up in. Like there was a lot of uncertainty and just the
Mhm.
different values that they were instilled in. And so I feel like growing up with that, like in their mind, that probably like formed their mindset is like I want to provide my children with the best life possible, kind of like save them from some of the hard things that I had to go through. And then even like the people that are a little bit older than us, like still within the millennial generation, but like the older millennials, like I think there's you could almost divide millennials into two groups, like the older ones and then the younger half, like the older half. And I don't know, I might just be spewing here. Like
No,
there
I
might be
think
no truth to
you're
it, but like the the way that they raise kids, I feel like is different than what the younger half of the millennials are raising kids.
oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. I think
I think
there's
there's a
a
big shift because like we see like the
yes.
homeschool movement, we see a family values movement that is a lot different than before. Um
Mhm.
and like I can't speak for all of them. I don't think it's a large group, but like Heather went to that homeschool convention over the weekend and she's like there wasn't an iPad in sight. Like none of these kids that were at this thing were like carrying around an iPad because I think we've learned from the people that had kids 5-10 years ago, and those ones that
Mhm.
well, I guess not 5 years ago, like my kids,
Well, yeah, that
but
but we're iPad babies
yeah,
or
we
whatever.
saw
Yep.
we saw what that did. Like we saw like
Yep.
what that could cause. So like not saying that I can't say it's a blanket statement. Like everybody has the same mindset of maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't carry on and try and keep making our kids' lives easier. Maybe we should try to present challenges to them at a younger age or whatever. Like I said, I don't know. I'm kind of spewing here, but this is like a lot of the things that I think about on the journey of raising kids is like there does need to be a certain level of um I don't want to say discomfort. I don't think that's the right word. I think just challenge.
I think that, well, discomfort isn't the wrong word. You're not like trying to make them
Yeah, no,
uncomfortable,
not by any
but
means.
life is not comfortable.
Right.
Right. There are so many times, even throughout a week, where I'm just like, oh, like that was not, I don't enjoy this. This is not that fun, but you still got to do it.
Mhm.
You still have to get it done. And learning how to get things done when you're feeling like that, when you don't want to, is one of the man, it's one of the best traits I think out there because that builds discipline,
Mhm.
right? You're doing things because you know you have to, not just because you want to. And when we only do things because we want to, we don't get very far in anything. And we honestly just end up causing more probably of a riffle in the water than anything.
Mhm.
It's just like, this is random thoughts that I've had as a new dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like so much more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm watching everybody with kids now.
Mhm.
I'm,
Dude,
I'm
yeah,
very aware and I
you
like
get very observant, like, or at
observing.
least I
Yeah.
do, because like, I like to know, like, what makes people tick in the first place, and so, like, I'm very much a people watcher of, like, other parents, I guess. Like, not from like, a critical standpoint so much, but more of, like, a
Were you ever
what
critical though?
works and what
Like
doesn't work.
before you had kids or anything like that?
I don't know.
Can you remember?
I really don't
Well,
know.
sometimes like I don't think I was ever critical, but like you see parents do certain things with their kids, you're like, I'd never do that,
Yeah, but you have
and then
you just
yeah,
yeah,
you have
100
no
yeah, I
idea.
know what you're
You
saying,
have
yeah.
no clue.
Yeah, because
And
like,
sitting
people
here now, I'm like,
yeah,
whoo, I take a lot of that back.
yeah,
My
you'll
bad.
hear oh, the ones that get everybody fired up is, like, I'll see, like, a post online, it's, like, people complaining that don't have they obviously don't have kids, like, complaining about sitting next to a crying baby on an airplane.
Oh yeah.
It's like, it's not like the parents are enjoying this either. Like,
I'm telling you, the parent is having it way worse than that
yeah,
baby is. I'm telling you right
yeah,
now, that parent is straight up
it
scarred
is
because of that
it
baby
is so
crying, and
much more
90% of the
stressful
time,
for the
yeah,
parent of the crying baby than it is for anybody else on that airplane, I can guarantee it, because I've been
yeah.
there. Like,
Oh yeah. He starts to scream in public, bro, and I just start sweating. My
oh, yeah.
face gets
Like,
flushed. I'm
"I gotta
just
get
like,
out of here."
oh,
Yeah,
yeah, this is
yeah,
bad. Yeah.
yeah. And then
Oh
some
man.
old timer will come up to you and be like, "Oh, enjoy it while it lasts," and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Like, "Yeah, I
it
should
gets
enjoy
better.
it."
It's like, don't tell me that. Everyone tells me it gets better. It hasn't yet. Just kidding. It's been pretty good. But on the real, no one talks about how freaking hard it is in the beginning. And
No.
that kind of bums me out because
Let's
that should be a very transparent thing.
well, the funny thing, and you'll learn this too, is, like, you forget about it.
I don't know if I'll ever
No, you
forget about
will.
this
Like,
ball.
that's what's that's what's wild is, like,
I don't
you
know.
forget how hard it was, and that's when you have baby number 2, because you don't
Yeah.
remember how hard baby number was.
Idiot.
Yeah. It
Oh, it's
just
all good though.
gets wiped from the memory, and you remember all the good stuff, and you're like, "Oh, man, I can't wait until I get to hear the little baby sniffles and stuff again," and then you
Yeah.
remember all the hard stuff because you get thrown right back into it.
Yeah. It is, man. It is. But I feel like we're getting more dialed. Me and Al have been in the gym 3 times this week so
Let's
far.
go.
Yeah, which it's a Thursday, so we're doing pretty good. We're getting our routine more dialed in, but it feels so good to be moving again and doing like actual training.
Mhm.
For the last few months there, it was just I was just moving because I know I needed to, and just to get really some mobility and make my body feel less like garbage. But now it's like game on, and I'm feeling freaking good. Logan built a program, just a functional fitness program, and honestly, anybody, athlete or not, could do this, and you'd get fit and see better results even in the arena or not. But I'm seeing some just aesthetically. I'm seeing results already. I've been doing it for about 3 weeks, and it feels awesome to be back in there and building some strength and putting on some muscle. And I kind of wanted to chat about what your trainings look like, what I've been doing, and just kind of talk about the goals and why we're setting it up that way. And I was lucky that Logan built this plan because it was literally what I wanted to make. But you know, in the beginning, I told him, I said, I really want to put on just a little mass and get some of this like muscle endurance back, get a little hypertrophy going. So reps were pretty high, like 12 to 15 on everything. Weight was pretty low. I was really moving with intent. I was making sure that I wasn't just going as fast as I could on a curl or whatever. I was really squeezing and making sure every rep was full range of motion, getting that full contraction every time. And dude, I'm going to be real honest. I don't think I picked up a weight over 20 pounds throughout the whole first 2 weeks of this.
Mhm.
And so this last week has been the next phase. But in 2 weeks of just doing lightweight hypertrophy work, I was already seeing really cool, like good results. I'd also really focused on my nutrition because I told Al, I was like, dude, we haven't even been eating half of our maintenance calories this first 2 months of having him, and it's wild that the body will just I mean, when you're taking care of a kid, it'll just forget, like,
Mhm.
that you're hungry, and I could for man, towards the end of that, the last week of, him being 2 months, almost 3 months old, I was just feeling so tired and gross, and it was 100% because I was underfueled
Mhm.
and didn't have any energy, and I actually realized it because and this is where we were at, like, I'm just eating whatever I can, and I was feeling like that. All I had was PB&J. I went and threw together PB&J, ate it. I felt so much better, and it was like light bulb off. "Oh, yep, you were
Yeah,
in the
that's
dumps, bro.
what
Your
it is.
blood sugar was so low." I was start thinking about what I've been eating. Oh, maybe if you're lucky, you're hitting 90 grams of protein in a day.
Mhm.
You're not doing it. And so I really started focusing on that. Meal prep is number one for us and having that food ready for us. So we got some staples. We've been doing quiche without crust,
Mhm.
and it goes in a big pan, like a glass cooking dish. So our chickens are producing like crazy now that it's warming up. So we've been getting like 2 eggs a day during the winter, and all of a sudden we're literally getting 7 eggs a day. So we're kind of overwhelmed, but it's a great way to use
Yeah.
a lot of these eggs at once, right? And get a lot of protein in there. And it's kind of cool that there are eggs. But that's been a really big game changer because I know I can get a ton of protein in my first meal of the day.
Mhm.
And then I know you've had the sloppy joes that I make before, but
Mhm.
elk sloppy joes, we throw them on a half a bagel or a small piece of sourdough toast. That's gonna be our lunch, but literally takes once you have it prepped, it takes 90 seconds to make. It's so convenient and clutch. And with the little one or a busy lifestyle or being on the road, having those things easy and ready to roll is the best thing that you can do. And it's gonna put you on track to those goals so much faster. All you have to do is prepare a little bit, right? So I'm not gonna lie. The first again 2 weeks throughout the hypertrophy, I was like force feeding myself because my body had gotten used to not eating as much as I used to. I remember looking at Al at lunch one day. I'm like, I'm literally eating right now out of principle.
Yeah.
I do not want any of this. I'm just maybe like I know that my body will catch up and it'll be happy if I do this, and it has. Now I'm hungry. I'm hungry all day. I'm reminded that I need to eat, but I also think I'm working out regularly. I'm hitting the resistance training regularly. The body's remembering where we were. It likes this. Um, Dude, my knees were killing me when I wasn't training, and I couldn't figure it out, like,
Mhm.
absolutely killing me. Get some moving, get 3 weeks of movement, and my knees feel like $1,000,000. It's just it always brings me back to this crazy thought process that we go through in just general, right? When we're sore, the natural tendency is to slow down and lay down and not do anything, but we continue to get sore when we don't move, and people will just continue to not do anything because 'cause they're sore, but it's the one thing we need to do is go get moving, and you'll
Mhm.
be less sore. So, I know we've said that a million times, but, like, if you're out there and you're like, I just haven't done anything because I'm it doesn't feel great." Well, go move around and see if that feels better. Almost guarantee that it will. But we're moving into some strength stuff now, which I love. And so he's been increasing my rest times big time between sets. He had a lot of, not a lot of, but most of them were like supersetted with
Mhm.
each other, the hypertrophy stuff, push pull, um, you know, upper lower, whatever he's doing. Now I'm starting to get into some weight, and dude, it's so funny. I remember texting you guys, and I had back squatted the first time in like whatever it was, and I did 135, and I felt like it was 1,000,000 pounds. It felt so heavy to me, which is wild, right? But over those 2 weeks, CNS gets readjusted.
Yeah.
135 is my warm up weight. Like we're back to way over body weight, squatting for 5 to 6 reps. But he puts a tempo on everything for me, and it's 5 reps, 3 sets. No, sorry, 4 sets of that, and it's building on the volume as we go for the next three weeks. So it'll go 4 sets, 5 sets, 6 sets. The reps will kind of go down as we do that.
Mhm.
But from there, my weight is going up, right? I'm increasing that resistance. My rest time is long, and I always forget, dude, how long 3 minutes of rest feels like because it feels like a damn eternity.
Mhm.
I'm watching Al. She's on like a EMOM 30 on 30 off. She's done 5 things before
Yeah,
I've done
before you
one
get to
set.
your
I'm
second
like,
set.
"Oh, I just need to go. I need to do something." But I did that. I wasn't timing it well the first time, and by that 4th set, I'm pretty whooped, and I that's okay. Like, I wanna feel that fatigue, but I knew it wasn't because of the weight. It was because I wasn't allowing myself long enough to recover from those sets and give my max effort to each rep in those sets, right?
Mm,
And again, I've been training for a long, long time, so I know I can feel that in my like, I know what's going on with my body. I'm very aware. If you're new at this, you may not be able to feel that immediately, but the rest time is important, very, very important, and you will get better benefit. I'm sorry, better results from your training if you follow that. Most people think it's just for the torturous part because we want to make you sit there for 3 minutes. There's actual scientific reasoning behind why we do this,
mm,
right? So I'm loving the strength work. I'm loving getting back under a barbell. It just feels good. Just feel more strong and able walking around, that's the whole freaking reason we do this.
mhm.
Be more confident. What have you been doing in the gym?
Yeah, my training, it looks very different right now than what it usually looks like. Um, so I've been, for the last, I don't know, forever, it seems like, or, at least the last several years, like doing like athletic type stuff, a lot of dynamic movements and things. And um, last year, I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on here before. Last year, I like hurt my hip. Um, Broke my hip when I was a teenager, like my femur and the where it goes up into the hip socket, and pretty much just carried on. It was when I was a teenager, like didn't affect me that bad, and then um, last year, about this time of year, it might have been like May or something, but I just I jumped really high and felt that hip go. And it was like one of those oh crap moments. Um, but I ignored it. Like I just ignored it. I would train when I felt like training, and then if it was bugging me, I wouldn't do anything. And I did that for 9 months pretty much, until I think it was about the beginning or middle of January. I was like, you know what, enough is enough. Like I've got to either get this looked at or start taking a rehab approach seriously or something. And so before I still haven't gotten it looked at, I haven't gotten it evaluated. I'm pretty sure I know that my labrum was, if not destroyed, it's pretty well messed up. But I was like, you know what, like I know, like I'm capable of writing and following my own rehab program. Like I need to just freaking do what I tell my clients to do. And so I've been doing that. Upper body's been basically just like hypertrophy stuff. So it's more of like I'll do like a push pull day, and then a leg day on Wednesday, and then a push pull day on Friday. So a lot different than what I'm usually doing. But taking that slow approach with the hip has been incredible. Like you never, just like with your rest thing, like you never want to take the time to slow down, but when you slow down, you actually get to go faster. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I didn't do any lifts for probably a month and a half. It was somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. It was like isometric holds and like core stability. Like my leg day wasn't even a leg day. Like I wasn't even training legs like at all. I was just focusing on getting my hip back to feeling okay. Then the last two or 3 weeks now, I've been able to actually apply some load to it. And
But you changed that too. You didn't just go
no,
right
no, I
back to
didn't
full
go right
range of
back to full
motion.
range of
I know we
motion.
talked about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, because that was what I did all last year. It was like when my hip would feel good, I would
Oh,
do
we're good.
full depth squats. I would deadlift
Mhm.
heavy. I would do jumps and stuff. And the next day felt like crap again. And so yeah, so I've been going like partial range of motion, box squats, rack pulls, and then finishing up with like isometric accessories. And dude, I feel great right now. Like I feel so good. Uh
That's so
the
cool, dude.
tipping point, like that made me do this was like, we went for a walk. Like I said, it was like the middle of January, I think, when I started. We went for a walk, and I went to go take off jogging after the kids. I couldn't jog.
I
Get
remember you
hurt
saying that. Yeah.
so bad. I could not
Yeah.
jog to keep up with my kids, and I was like, "This is a problem." Like, I'm way too young for like this to ignore this for the rest of my life. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, slowing down
Mhm.
to go faster is for sure a real thing. Um, the biggest struggle that I've been having is to just not do too much. Like even yesterday, like when I was loading up, I increased. I'm able to apply a progressive overload with those modified lifts, which is
Mhm.
good. Like it feels good that I can add weight to the bar, but like sometimes, like even then on my top set, it's like I have to say like enough is enough. Like not push too far. Like if say 185 was tough for 10 reps, like probably not going to push much beyond that this week. I'll save
No.
that for next week. I'll try to add 5 more pounds later.
Yeah.
So
You can also add tempo to that
yeah,
too,
yeah,
and take that same weight and just kick your butt a little bit more because tempo changes everything.
that's
And
exactly what I
there,
did yesterday. So like on the box squats, um, it was like I'd gotten to 10 reps and it was like easy. I was like, I should add more weight. But then like at the same time, I was like, I don't think I want to go too far. So I just focus more on the eccentric portion of that. And then like really being intentful about coming up out of the hole, which it's not much of a hole when you have a tall box underneath you, uh
hey,
but it feels
dude,
good.
but
Yeah.
we went over that study though
Hmm.
about partials versus full range of motion,
Yeah.
and like they're pretty similar. So you can still build strength. You can still do all these things with partials.
Hmm.
And I think that it's the best thing you could do because, like you said, you'd just be stuck in this vicious cycle of maintenance, feel good,
Hurt.
full speed,
Yeah.
don't feel good for an extended amount of time, and it just repeats itself over and over and over. The reason we don't want to do that stuff is because it's boring. And as coaches, for some reason, we are like the best at not wanting to do the things that we know we should do. Um, I will say that over the last decade or whatever I have been coaching, that approach has definitely changed a lot for me because I just know at this point that it's the only thing that's going to help me is doing those things. And um, I got a back fusion. I have a few things that I have to take care of, or else I think over time they will not benefit me anymore. Right. And so it's just something in my head I know I have to stay disciplined with. And when I do, man, holding this baby all the time, I'm using the worst biomechanics possible, I think. And
100%.
my body is compensating and feels like absolute garbage after holding him for a while. And I'm, anteriorly tilting
Yeah.
that pelvis and oh
If
dude,
you've
it's
never
just
had shoulder
killing me
pain
back.
before, just have kids and then you get shoulder pain
Yeah,
automatically.
that's 1,000%. 1,000%. But the only way I can counteract that is doing mobility or
Hmm.
doing or exercising. And I have to actively think about correcting my posture in my exercise because I'm so rounded forward from holding this kid all the time or, arched back like that. And I can feel it in my just daily life. So I've just been making sure to stay on top of that. But, you know, we're talking about being sore as parents over here
Hmm.
living, haven't left the house in 2 weeks. All these rodeo athletes, y'all, you need to be doing your
Yeah.
mobility. Like
Yeah, no,
everyone needs to be
everything
doing
that we've talked about like I mean, it all rings true for the rodeo athlete as well. I know if you guys are listening, you're probably like I ain't got kids yet. I ain't got to worry about this. Like it's the same but different. You don't.
Also, good for you guys. Just keep it that way for as
Yeah,
long as you possibly can until you find a very, very good partner
yeah,
that you'll go to war
yeah.
with, and
Just
then go do that.
just like parents of young kids, like rodeo athletes don't have time to train very often. You are doing other things that would be or it it's inconvenient to stop and take the mobility break, or you don't want to accept the fact that you do need to slow down and focus on this certain thing that's been bugging you instead of just going hard all the time. Like when you go from not having kids to having kids, it's like, oh well, I can't go super hard all the time now because there's all these other stresses in my life. I have to like actually dial back my training to complement where I'm at in life, not just keep going at the same pace. And it's the same with rodeo. Like there's going to be times where you can train hard and there's going to be times where you absolutely shouldn't. Uh, you need to be focusing on your recovery and managing the little nagging injuries and stuff. And you have to pull yourself back and slow down so that you can speed up.
That's such a sign of maturity, being able to recognize that you need to slow down just for a second, take your foot off the gas at a strategic time, and then put the foot back down because you're ready to go. These little nagging things that you're talking about. I think about a couple of my buddies' dads. They are the most outgoing people that I know, and I'm thinking of two of my buddies' dads in particular. They are like the same people, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like identical in what they do, and they go hard in everything, and they have their entire life, and they're the toughest man. It's probably the toughest humans that I know. However, they're 60 years old, very very fit. Both of them are having to go through a shoulder reconstruction soon. They're both at least going to need a hip replacement eventually, because those nagging things they never paid attention to. They just kept going through them because, oh, that don't matter. It don't matter. It does matter eventually. You have to, like, it will catch up to you, and you have to take care of that stuff now before it gets worse. And we talk to a lot of athletes that we train, even young guys, especially guys that run into injuries, have had, surgeries of, reconstructing things, ligaments, whatever. A lot of that stuff wasn't just a one impact deal
Mhm.
where, an accident happened, they came off weird and it disintegrated whatever ligament or tendon or bone that they were having to deal with. It usually is a compound thing over time. They had this thing that was arising and kept escalating and escalating and escalating, and they never took care of it because they just thought it would go away. And that's just not how it works. And the most important thing, well, that was like 3 words in one. The most important thing is, if you ever are injured like that and you have to do these maintenance exercises to get better, you have to do those maintenance exercises forever.
Mhm.
You don't have to do them every day or at the same intensity you did in the beginning, but you have to maintain all of that stability that you built. Those exercises should be integrated into your routine without a doubt. You need to do those every week, at least 3 times a week. And if you don't, I promise you, you will end up back in the same position. You will have the same aches and pains. Give it a week or two without doing them, and it'll be back. Especially if you're competing at, in the summer during those high volume competition times where we are getting on, we're roping, we're doing whatever a lot. It will come back. You will be in the same boat. Don't be that guy. Trust me. It really is that easy. Just do the stuff. It's boring as
Mhm.
shit, but just do it.
Yeah, it is. I can attest to that because that's right now is like I have like the same. I start every day, even the days that I don't lift. Like if I'm going to do mobility or even just go for a walk, like I'm going to still start that session with the same like few isometric exercises, just to make sure that the hip is like we're good to go and it's where everything's where it
Mhm.
needs to be. But yeah, it's like I want more. I want to do more, and like the hard part is just doing the same boring stuff over and over and over again. Like that's the most difficult part of this whole process, but I've already seen the results from it. And so it's like that part is kind of motivating to be like, all right, let's stay the course here. Let's keep on this track. We'll add intensity where we can, but like we're going to keep doing the boring stuff until forever, till I don't have to anymore, which is going to be long after it starts to feel better, which it already feels better. I need to keep doing it for a much longer time.
One of my I don't like really talk about it. Like one of my personal flexes though, like, is that I can do all of these like dead bugs and bird dogs and all of these really, really simple yet difficult exercises perfectly
Mhm.
every rep. Like I pride myself in being able to do them perfectly because a lot of people can back squat well. A lot of people can deadlift heavy weight. You throw them into these positions and they can't do anything correctly. They're shaking. They're this is dumb. But the only reason it's dumb is because you don't know
Yeah,
how
because
it
you're not
feels
good at
bad to
it.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's being able to move and control with stability like that is the major flex for me, at least. And that shows me a lot more than someone that can lift a heavy weight or jump high or do whatever, because if they can move perfectly during those stability small movements that no one wants to do, they're going to be able to do anything they want in the other realms. They're
Yeah.
prepared. Their body's able. They are ready to go. They're able to express strength, power. They're not likely to get injured, especially in a non-contact situation. They're ready to roll. Those people that are, going hard, lifting heavy weights all the time, badass, keep going. But I can look at you and literally five reps and a movement pattern and tell you that you are at risk for
Yeah, the
not great things
longevity
happening.
is at risk is what it is
Yeah.
like you can the human body is so cool, like, it can perform these awesome feats, um, like the running, the jumping, the lifting heavy, like, whatever,
In
um
spite of being injured or hurt.
yeah, yeah, in spite
Yeah.
like, it'll overcome, like, I mean, you can grip it and rip it and you can go, but you can only do that so much, and everybody's going to be a little bit different. And so I think we can predict our longevity a little bit better if we are pulling it back and focusing on the control and the core stability. Like core, everything pretty much, I could pretty much point to everything come back to like core stability. It'd be like one of the main pillars of longevity because it's how you handle yourself
100%.
in the dead bug situation, like how you handle yourself there can translate directly to how you handle yourself in a heavy deadlift or getting on a bucking horse or whatever.
Isn't it funny to think about something that simple and that uh, I don't want to say like non-invasive is not the right word I'm looking for, but it's just so
Yeah.
not intense. It's very blah at its base form, but it could tell me and you how someone is going to perform at one of the most elite, intense things in the world.
Hmm.
It cracks me up because no one is correlating that together, right? No one's saying that person can do a dead bug perfectly. I bet if they were trained appropriately, they could probably spur the crap out of a bucking horse or ride a bull or do whatever they wanted to. Um, it's a huge indicator for us as coaches as to how long your body's going to be able to keep going, right, and stay strong and do all that. But I'm glad you said longevity because that is the whole point of the fitness, right?
Hmm.
Is to complement everything, make you feel better, to help you. Yeah, it should build a little mental toughness. It should build a little bit of character and be tough sometimes, but it's not something you go and kill yourself at all the time. There is purpose behind everything. I want to kind of switch pages here. Turn the page.
Turn the page.
Turn the page. That just reminded me of the campaign. I won't finish the line that he says in that, but it's such a good movie. Um, Weight loss stuff. And even not in the weight loss realm, but fasting. I I've Fasting's been a big thing for a long time, but more recently I'm hearing it a lot from athletes. Like I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat until 8 a.m. Or I mean, sorry, I don't eat until like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. after they haven't eaten for 12 hours, so
Hmm.
they've stopped at 7 or 8 at night, and they're restricting the time that they're eating. Do you know anything about fasting or? I mean,
Yeah, a
I know.
little bit. I'm not like I can't pull it off the top of my head, but I sat in on a metabolic flexibility lecture. I don't know. I have the notes here on my iPad. I don't know where they're at. I'd have to find them. But
So this study was testing basically the weight loss differences in a group of people that maintain a self-selected 8-hour eating window. Starting the day after they randomized it, they were, um, if they found that this was challenging, they were instructed to increase the window to 10 hours for the first 2 weeks to adjust to that. But within the first 2 weeks, they needed to be within 8 hours eating the caloric amount that they needed to eat, whatever their goal was to lose the weight, right? And then they had another group that was only reducing their daily calorie intake by 15% below their maintenance needs, which I think this is where me and you probably align on what we do
hmm.
with most of our athletes, right? Is going this method. It works. However, the the results showed very similar things. There was no major changes in either group. They both lost weight in very similar fashions. The one thing that they said was that people that have a hard time controlling eating, like going through, like stress triggered eating or something like that, where they can't, that 8 hour window might be very helpful to, because it will naturally decrease your caloric intake because you're only able to eat for those 8 hours, right? Um, I think it's a total personal preference thing. I think that if you are doing this to lose weight, you definitely need to decrease your calorie intake, like we just said. How you do that and how you're successful at that, I think is a personal thing.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of ways to skin a cat here. So what I'm saying is that fasting is not wrong. Just decreasing the calorie intake and getting that 15% below your maintenance needs is not wrong. They're both correct. But as an individual, what's going to be the most likely way to get you to consistently be at that 15% below your maintenance needs, right? And if that is only allowing yourself to eat for 8 hours, cool. But the one thing I want to bring up is like, that's not a forever thing. Usually when you lose the weight that you need eventually, you've got to eat your maintenance calories now. We actually have to start reversing that deficit that we've been in. And what I see with a lot of athletes, everything we just talked about was below maintenance needs. Athletes need to be at a very minimum of maintenance calories usually or above to build
Mhm.
muscle, to continue to have energy to do what they do. And what we're seeing with athletes is they're fasting. Cool. Why? They don't really know, but they're 120 pounds, they're 5'7", and they don't get why they're hurt all the time. And that's why. It's because fasting is not for you. Fasting is not meant for you, right? It was meant for a totally different purpose. So if you're someone that is trying to build muscle and be strong and
Or
powerful,
perform at your best.
you still have to eat those calories in that 8 hours. So what I'm saying is an average dude like me and Paul, you probably need 2,500 calories
Mhm.
at a minimum, right? If you're training in rodeoing. So you got to eat 2,500 calories in 8 hours. Good luck.
Yeah.
It is tough. It's tough for me to get it in 16 hours. Like, so be sure that you are doing your research if you are applying these types of things to your training and to your routine, because it may not be serving your purpose at
Yeah.
all.
I
But for
did
those of
I
you that
did find my
go ahead.
notes. So, like, this
Oh yeah.
will confirm and then kinda debunk, like, a lot of a lot of the ways that people are currently applying intermittent fasting. So this was, I sat in on a lecture from, Dr. Mike Nelson. Uh, very, very smart dude when it comes to nutrition applications. Basically intermittent fasting for weight loss, like, is how most people would, apply it. It's just a tool, like you said. Like we're we the goal for weight loss is to reduce calories. If intermittent fasting helps you reduce calories, then by all means, let's do it. So talking about like from a performance perspective, though, he said it's one tool that we can use for metabolic flexibility and improving like our body's metabolic function. So it defined it as like a 0 calorie period, 1 day a week, anywhere between 19 to 24 hours. Like doesn't really matter. Like just wherever you're comfortable starting at. The
Mhm.
goal is to lower insulin response and lower our blood glucose. Like that's kind of literally it. To progress it, like you start with a lower time frame and then work your way up. You said your hunger signal should be low. Like you shouldn't be starving. If you're hungry, like you need to eat. This is, and I'm speaking more from like a performance or just longevity, thing. If your goal is weight loss, like you're going to be like, there's going to be times where you're hungry. Like that's just how weight loss goes. But, um, like your hunger signal should be low. Like you shouldn't be hungry all the time. If you're hungry, then eat. And so,
Mhm.
like, if you're going to apply this, um, for like whatever said health benefits, like just try to work your way up, just like we're using progressive overload. Like try to push time where that time window where you're eating a little bit further and further back. Um, Debunked, like little portion here is like intermittent fasting does not decrease your carb use. You will still use carbs. This is like probably where like a lot of the keto people would come in and be
That's a
like,
wild thing to think. Like, I could see if you knew nothing about nutrition why you could fall for that, but
yeah,
like what?
yeah, no, you're still going to use them. And his warning was like, do not use intermittent fasting in times of high stress. Hello, rodeo athletes. So
Hello, rodeo
not
athletes. Did he
probably
say
not
what
something
the
for you.
consequences or
I'm sure he did, but
possi
I didn't write it down. Like I said,
I
this
wonder
is
if
just what I
like,
have written down.
man, it probably messes with cortisol. It probably messes with everything.
Yeah, your cortisol would be higher, like
Yeah.
naturally, because when insulin's down, cortisol is high. And so
Yes.
if we're intentionally lowering our insulin, our cortisol is going to be much higher. Reason why you don't need to use it in times of stress because your cortisol is already elevated. We don't need to elevate your cortisol
Mhm.
any further. Um, yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of a rundown on it. Make you
And
rethink, like,
cortisol,
is this something that I actually want to use?
you're affecting way more than just your weight loss. Like we're talking about hormones now.
Hmm.
It literally has a hormonal response in your body. So just be smart about how you're using this. It's a great tool
And he
for
said
people
use
that
it
want to lose
like I
weight.
said, for metabolic flexibility, like he said, use it one
Yeah.
day per week. Like we're not doing
Yeah.
this every day.
No, not at all. So hopefully that helps some guys out there, or they'll just don't believe us even more. I don't know.
Yeah. If you are doing it every day, like I said, like if you're doing it for weight loss, like, you know, there's a time and a place. Like doing it every day
Definitely.
is like probably okay if you're at least like within your calorie range still. Like you don't want to be much below probably 500 calories per day deficit. But yeah, for guys that are trying to like increase their performance and they're trying to use intermittent fasting, like it's probably like if you're doing it more than 1 day a week, you're probably not doing much for you.
Yeah.
More harm than good.
You are. Yeah, and if you're successful, you are successful in spite of what you are
Mm-hmm.
doing. We're not saying that you can't be successful doing those things. All we're saying is you could be a lot better than you think you could
Mm-hmm.
by doing things correctly. You got anything else to wrap this up, brother?
Man, I don't think so.
I don't even remember what we
We
talked about
talked
today. I
about a
blacked out,
lot. Yeah,
but
we've gone all over the board here today. So,
lucky they didn't dive into the history lesson of bull jumping. We'll
dude,
save that for next.
we need to save that for next time because I did go a little bit down that rabbit hole.
I did too, and I found way more cultures
Yeah,
that do it.
yeah,
And yeah, needless to say, bullfighting goes back to about the 1400 to 1600 BC era, and we are not the first to do it.
yeah.
But we're jumping into that the next episode. But until then, we'll catch you later, guys. If you want to learn more about our coaches and program options, make sure to swing over to our website at www.championlivingfitness.com. You can fill out the Become an Athlete form to set up your free consultation and have all your questions answered by a coach.